Sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Live from New York, it's the show that features one official NBA voter and Defensive Player of the Year voter. It's Chris Broussard. It's the second hour of First Things First. It's just the truth. It helps gas Broussard up a little bit. It doesn't hurt your feelings at all. It shouldn't. Today, is there any chance this could be Steph's last game with the Warriors, or maybe Klay Thompson's last game? We discuss. Meanwhile, Lake Show. By Vegas standards, underdogs in New Orleans, can the Pelicans, I guess, get the win? I was going to say pull off the upset, but that doesn't make any sense. Nevertheless, it's Tuesday, April 16th.
That's why some people write those.
And it's time for the warmest segment in all sports. I tried to freestyle that one. Now, I'm back to the warmth and security of the prompter. King of the Hill Playoff Edition. Like always, this ranking is a rich tapestry of historical greatness, recent performance, and the ever-important eye test.
Yes.
It's named after LeBron James, and it's called King of the Hill Playoff Edition.
Wonderful introduction, Kevin
Look at,
Wildes.
and we doubled up on the butterfly.
Oh, because it's the playoffs. And the most important word you said there, or two words, pardon me, is rich tapestry.
Yeah, bro.
So I
Which
want
means
the audience
you can't
to
push back.
I know.
What's the criteria?
Well, I'm trying to explain. So
Whatever.
it has, a couple shakes of how you're playing right now, a little bit of how you've done over the course of the season.
I just explained all this.
And well, I'm going to add one important thing for Brew, and a massive dose of what your playoff resume is, for good or for bad. That is why it is. It is the playoff edition.
Glad you said
so. It is very different than the regular season,
There's
and it's
too many
only, of
intro.
course,
Oh my gosh, we gotta go.
people that are in the playoffs. Bottom row.
He didn't
Donovan
like your
Mitchell,
intro, wow.
Draymond Green is a great example of what's different from the playoff hill and the regular season hill. He never sniffed the regular season hill, but now it's playoff time. We know what type of playoff performer he is. Zion Paolo, we have not seen, on this stage in a significant way, but given how they played this year, they make it. Maxey played well in the postseason last year. And then Halliburton, DeMar DeRozan is kind of a scattered playoff history, but a lot of that was just because he kept running into LeBron James. So, row 6, Jaylen Brown, Paul George, Devin Booker, Kyrie, who both have had spectacular postseason moments or runs. Never been, for Booker, never had a great finals run, but has had a great run to the finals. Kyrie, it's been a while, but we have seen him have a monster postseason, monster finals performance. Dame, it's been a while as well, but we've seen him have monster postseason performances. And De'Aaron Fox was quite good last year till the broken finger. All right, 5th row. Again, this is where the playoff part comes in. My fake NBA MVP ballot, I had Jalen Brunson on it. And Jalen Brunson, by the way, has been excellent in the playoffs in his career. But he's not one of the 10 guys in the league I trust the most come the postseason, so that's where he is right now. Same with SGA. SGA is going to get first place MVP votes. But the only times we've ever seen him in the postseason was when he was a young pup on Chris Paul's Oklahoma City team, or when he was with the Clippers. So because of that, he's where he is. Tatum also. He's had some high playoff highs also. Wiles, what did he have?
Well, he had 100 turnovers.
100 turnovers in the year they went to the finals. Jamal Murray benefits massively from it being a playoff edition of the Hill. Jamal Murray, over the last few years when he's been healthy, has been a consistent, dominant playoff performer, including before Nikola Jokic was considered an MVP-level player. Jamal Murray was dropping 50 in playoff games. Now, those were playoff games where the other team employs Rudy Gobert, so we know usually somebody finds a way to average 50 against that drop defense, but still. Now to the top 10. Legends row. Steph, KD, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, not quite a legend, but trying to build it. These are guys that if you are rooting for the other team and they come up against you in the playoffs and they're healthy, they can ruin your whole summer.
Yes.
We have seen Steph do it a couple years ago. We saw Kevin Durant do it a couple years before that. Kawhi Leonard did it a couple years before that, and Anthony Davis did it sandwiched right in between alongside LeBron James. Now, Brew, this row is the toughest because this row is injuries and questions and very different playoff resumes. Giannis scored 50 to win a championship. Giannis had one of the best playoff runs in recent memory. Giannis also is hurt right now. Joel Embiid, based on the regular season version, King of the Hill, has kind of been the king of the last 2 years when he's been playing. In the playoffs, we're yet to see him have that great playoff moment. It's the opposite of Jimmy Butler, who in the regular season doesn't really seemingly care to show up that much. Come the playoffs, he has been as dominant as any perimeter player in the league over the last 5 years in the playoffs, aside from Steph and LeBron James. Maybe, honestly, more. Steph missed the playoffs songs. Steph won a title. He's right on par. Luka and LeBron. Luka is self-evident, second most playoff points per game in NBA history, only to Jordan, and he actually could, in this postseason, overtake Jordan for that first all-time, a list Jordan's been at the top of for my entire life, seemingly. And then there's LeBron, which I understand there's going to be some potential pushback or skepticism on that, but LeBron James, when healthy, which he is right now, has shown year in and year out that he is as able to control the game in the postseason, unlike really anyone in the league. And while I might disagree with Brew a bit on how much he does or doesn't control winning right now compared to other players in the league, it is not comparable to how he was as a younger player. But come the playoffs, he gets back in that mode. And we've seen him healthy once in the postseason as a Laker, and they did end up winning the championship. Then, of course, atop the playoff version of King of the Hill is Nikola Jokic. He's the reigning NBA champion, the reigning Finals MVP, and had a marvelous postseason run last year where LeBron did give him his best shot and won 0 games out of it. So that, Brew, is the first edition of 2024 Playoff King of the Hill.
Oh, that was great. Did he get the rich tapestry there?
Yeah, it did. And I'm glad you explained it. Wilds didn't explain it that way.
Thank you, bro.
So I'm glad
I appreciate you having my
Sorry
back.
about that, Wilds. But the key, though, when you said what you've done in your playoff career, that's the kicker and why I have an issue. I'm switching. Well, I'm moving Jamal Murray up to where Joel Embiid is.
Wow.
And moving Embiid down a level and
Top 6 guy.
the dude, I mean, he is the very definition of a playoff player. I mean, let's look at this graphic. This is his career versus Embiid. And I think if we can make it a little bigger. But look at Embiid in the regular season, 28 points a game for his career. Playoffs, he drops basically 4 points to 24. Look at the field goals, though. Down to 46%, not good for a big, and 28% from three. Murray goes the opposite way. From 17 points to 25. Field goal percentage up, 3-point percentage up. But that's not even, remember last year, Embiid, who I voted for MVP and deservedly he won it, but he averaged 33 points a game last year. In the playoffs, 24.
Well, he's hurt.
Well, he's always hurt. That's the problem. And he might be hurt now. Who knows? Whereas Murray went the opposite. Joel went down 10 points, essentially. Murray went up 5 points. And against the Lakers, Nick, he was – Jokic did average a triple-double with 14
But he was
points,
32 a
12
night.
rebounds. Yes. Jamal Murray, and you hit it. It wasn't just last year. His career, he shows up. It was in the bubble when he had the 2 50-point games against Utah, him and Donovan Mitchell going at it. He had a 42-point game that series. He's one of those guys that turns it up when the lights are the brightest and the stakes are the highest. And so I got to put him up there.
And I will add another point to it. I don't think, personally, that Jokic drastically improved as a player between last year and the year before. I think he improved a little bit, but the Nuggets were one and done, lost in first round, versus winning the title with no one really pushing them. What was the most significant difference? Jamal Murray being out versus Jamal Murray being in. So Murray was a few of these are tough ones because it's like I don't want to have SGA. It kind of feels unfair to have SGA that low, but we've never seen him have a great playoff run. Hopefully, I assume he'll have one this year, so that's where we're at. Go ahead.
I'd like to move Maxey up.
Oh!
On potential. And I went like just the micro against the Heat to start.
Yeah.
Like you got to, before we get into the real play, you got to beat the Heat. So I'm going to move Maxey up. Maxey's last 3 games against the Heat. Pretty solid. 32 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. Field goal percentage is at 52%, plus minus 45. Last year it was like, if Embiid's out, it's really Harden's team now. Harden hit the game winner, was really carrying him. Now it's obviously Maxey, even though him and Embiid are playing very well. Now, will this carry? That is a great picture, Doug. Offensive rating when they're on the court, everything's either 1, 2, or 4th with the opponent's field goal percentage, so defense. So I think this is Maxi's kind of superstar turn. When Josh and I were going through it, and you talked about Jamal Murray and Donovan kind of came out in the bubble. Yep. We saw Trae Young. I know he's a high draft pick, but like that run when he was in the Garden, these really superstar moments. I feel like with Harden out of the way, this is really Maxi's moment to become, if not a superstar, right below superstar.
Go ahead.
Well, the opportunity's there, for sure. Now, I'm going to ask you, too, is he your most improved player? Because I didn't have him in my top 3. I thought he was really good last year. I just thought he got more opportunity this year.
Who did you give it to?
Jalen Williams from OKC.
That makes sense.
You know,
I was
second leading scorer on the
probably
team.
LeBron. He's shooting. I mean, I don't know. He's shooting. He's improved a lot. He's always getting better. Here's the thing that I'm most excited about for Maxey. The best position for a guy like Maxey to be in as the second best guy is when the best guy is a big. So it's when Embiid's out last year and Harden's there and Harden's still you don't get the opportunities. He still averaged 20 a game, but the ball's going to be in his hands a ton. He did get a couple months where, hey, it's my team. Now they weren't very good in that span, but he got the reps. That 29-7. I was trying to do the math in my head while you were talking. Fact check me on this, Dust, but I think 29-7 is right at a 64 win pace. So that, you know what I mean, that is what I say that because that's what the Celtics ended up being. Yeah. And so
it did feel like they were,
what's that?
Playing above their above a pace. It's like it was a marathon and they decided to set the world record in the first 10
I think
miles.
they could have kept it up.
Really?
If Embiid had stayed healthy, but
they couldn't have.
Well, no, he said if Embiid stayed healthy.
But I'm saying that's the point. If you're playing a breakneck.
No, but he's saying,
I just think they were playing at the level that
he's saying they were good enough. He's saying that he thinks that
Kelly Oubre's really stepped. I mean, he's playing well.
I've been on Kelly Oubre's train.
Okay, well, yeah.
Since the Supreme Sleeve. I've been there.
So listen, I think that's fair. We just need to see it on a real playoff run, and hopefully we see it starting tomorrow night.
Maxey time.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, Warriors. Nick is predicting this might be the end of the Warriors. It's kind of sad, to be honest with you.